Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Coastal Connection with your host, Michael Garcia. We'd love to introduce you guys to our first show in the Tampa Bay area. Representing with me, we had Vincent Buggs, the retired general, just freshly retired. Last October, some
Nice.
good here. And we also have a special guest from California right now, Miss Christina Nepstad. How are you, Christina?
Hello, Michael. Hello, Ben.
And once again, welcome to our first show. Thank you to Rack for using this beautiful suite we have here.
That's right.
And here we go, Vince.
All right. Hey, first and foremost, before I want to get started, I want to talk about the Marines that we lost in Afghanistan. I want to say thank you for everyone that supports them, their families, and thank them for their service. And I realize it was the ultimate sacrifice. And Christine knows more importantly about this because her uncle Eddie passed away in Vietnam and paid the ultimate sacrifice in Vietnam. So what we are going to do for the Embrace the Power Coastal Connection show is Christine is willing to donate free books and autograph at 20, and not free books. I stand corrected. All right. The books are $20 and we will have a link drop down in the bottom.
I can't hear anybody. Hello. Guys, I'm clueless over here. Cannot hear.
And we're back.
All right.
There we go.
You hear us?
I couldn't hear a word.
That's
all right.
fine.
So you hear us
Technical
now, right?
difficulties. It's all good.
You hear us
Gosh,
now?
you guys. Hey, what did I miss?
All right, here we go. All right, so the Fallen Marines, you're going to donate some books. You're going to donate books to anybody that wants to buy them, and we got to pay the postage for them. And you will send them a book, autograph book and all funds that are donated, the $20 will go to the Fallen Soldiers' Families Fund.
True.
Correct?
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
Right. So here's the deal: 100% of the funding for the books will go to the Fallen Soldiers Fund that they're setting up. We're going to donate it from the Coastal Connection. Also, I want to thank the teachers out there who are right now grinding, going after dealing with COVID in the classroom and trying to get back to some normalcy in America. And I want to say thank you to them. Keep doing what you're doing. Administrators, principals, hey, we love you. Never give up. And I am going to flip it back since we had minor technical difficulties, but we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
And my boy Mike.
Yeah.
Things happen. Live show. That's what makes it live and impact.
Yeah, and exciting. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Oh.
But we're back, so it's not a problem. Once again, we have Christina with us from California with the book for sale, everyone. It's going to be the author of Power Seat. So once again, let's explain what does Power Seat mean, Christina.
Right. Thank you, guys. So cool to be here. Such a true honor, really. Yeah, and hello to everybody listening. And certainly, Vince, thank you for your amazing words about our heroes, our American heroes that we just lost. And I'll tell you, we have a nation mourning. So, but we mourn together. And we mourn with hope in our hearts. But okay, moving on, the Power Seat. Well, guys, I'll have to tell you, it's not your typical interview book. For all of you listening out there, it is really a fabulous book about a different approach to interviewing. So first, if it's okay, let me tell you how I got started. A little bit about the background as to how this all came about. So for me, it was years of avoiding interviews and literally dreading them, right? But actually, interesting enough, it was an interview on national TV, nonetheless, that ironically did catapult me into being an interview coach. But I swore after that one interview, and by the way, that was on the stage of Miss USA with the late Dick Clark, if anybody remembers him. But it was an awful interview.
Now we're dating ourselves.
Oh, I know. Gosh. But it was awful. And I really have to tell you that was ironic because it was on the stage of Miss USA that I literally said to myself when I got off, I will never, ever again let myself feel so powerless, intimidated, and afraid. And so honestly, it was that led to the journey of self-discovery and ultimately a completely new understanding. That's what it led to, of communication, the human connection, and the true role every interviewee would need to really play if they wanted to be confident and I don't know, tap into that authenticity, be very real and powerful. So the past 20 years, I've been helping people understand the philosophies and the mindsets and those connection strategies that really need to be in place to help every interviewee pivot from that hot seat to that power seat. So that's a little bit of a flashback of how it started for me with just a fear, an utter fear of interviewing. And it's just funny how life is, right? And here I am.
Absolutely.
So did that drive you to become an interview communicational specialist? Did you crave in there? Did you master it to see what makes us more sharper? What can make us more sharper? What can make us more in tune in the interview arena?
Right. Well, that's a super great question. Michael, finding out about my own deficiencies as a communicator really helped me dial into what it was that I was missing. And communication, guys, write it down. Communication without connection is meaningless. And as an interviewee, let's just be honest, most of the time what we're interested in is what we can get out of the interview, right? So we are thinking about going in and getting a job or a raise or a different opportunity or position. So, and let's also just unpack for a minute the mentality of what that is. So first of all, it's nerve-wracking and mind-numbing, right? To go into an interview.
Oh, it's hard.
In our minds, we're thinking it's a grilling, it's a test, right? It's an interrogation, and you have to perform to a certain level so that you can get what you want. You have to study all the right questions, answers to all the right questions that you find online, and you have to have all of that information. And if you present it just right, then maybe you'll be liked and maybe you'll be picked and selected for what you want. But the problem with that is and by the way, you feel powerless when you're doing all of that. Okay, you're doing that from a powerless position,
right?
Which was what I was struggling with, but didn't realize it. So I felt so powerless because it was all about performance. It was all about what I can get, and it was all about validation. So I was constantly seeking for that validation to be liked, and it depleted me from who I really was in my power. So in the power seat, and what I found, Michael, through the journey of self-discovery was that I was missing the bigger picture. I was missing the picture of what connection is and what I had to offer as an individual, my personal ingredient list, my strengths, my abilities, and my talents that I had to offer. And so hiding behind a resume and just giving the right answers I didn't know it at the time, was stifling me and not allowing me to make connection.
So does this will go not only for the vets, but it's also, I see you have a category of athletic people, students, celebrities. I mean, does this all fall into one criteria that they all have issues after the spotlight? After after being military, after being that big celebrity, you got to come be guy. So have you seen that? Have you seen
that bear?
Well, yes and yes. Look, life's an interview, okay, guys? Life is an interview. Let me just explain this to you. What an interview really is, it's none of those things. That's what a cultural definition, what we all understand an interview is. But we really don't truly understand. I didn't. And when I discovered it, that's what led to my passion. An interview is an inner dash view of you. It's about you. It's about who you are and what you are. And we have to understand that as human beings, we shouldn't really ever put a value on, but rather a value in people. And we must first see the value in ourselves. But we often don't become the thought leaders on ourselves. We study everybody else's life, right? Especially today on social media. Basically, we're only seeing the highlight reels of people. That's not real either. We don't deal in perceptions in the power seat. We deal in reality. And it's all about understanding the reality of who you are. So when you say, oh, you're dealing with athletes, yes, I deal with athletes and people in the beauty industry, the entertainment industry, executives, moms, dads, students, and yes, people in the military transitioning out. This is applicable to everybody because in the end, it's all about who you are, understanding who you are and what your true individual, where that power derives, where it's getting rid of the thought of what it is that you want out of something. And it's understanding what you have that you can give. Right.
So do you help them accept that? Is that so you trigger their self-motivational levels that they need for what they need to be successful, correct?
Indeed. Absolutely. I can tell you that we are all more than our age, our race, our profile picture, our education. We are all more than our last job, and we are all more than our resumes. But finding out what that is, Michael, it takes some work. It takes some work. It takes some exploring, right? And uncovering. And listen, I love this. Evidence defeats doubt. I mean, in God we trust, but look, the rest of us, we need to bring the evidence, right? We have to find out because evidence defeats doubt. A lot of us go through life looking for validation and we listen, think, and speak. Actually, listen, think, and speak through. We don't listen, think, and speak through the validation necessarily of our own gifts, which leaves us powerless. We speak for the validation of others. And usually that's because we are not positive and secure in who we are. You have to know yourself before you can believe in yourself, before you can trust yourself, and ultimately sell yourself or offer the best of yourself.
Well, then you're cocky. That's what I get. Hey, that's what I get. I'm just feeding you what the world gives to me.
No, Vince, help.
All right, hold on. Okay. So, you said the key word. It might
not you, but they describe it as me, not you.
It might just hit the key word, ego. And so as you transition from the military, I think that one big thing is titles carry with people, right? And so when you carry that title of transitioning, here's the thing. And I honestly talked to a Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, who's on CNN all the time, and me and him had a great conversation about transition. And I talked to a Major General Larry Martin, Air Force type, about transition. And I think the one thing that they said is you have to remember something when you walk into a new organization, is that even though you earn these titles in the military as you transition out, you own those titles because you earned them. However, you have to remember that the people that you're going to work for in the civilian world have titles they have earned themselves. And that when you get there, you have to understand that this person's worked 30 years doing the same job, same thing for 30 years, and they worked hard to get to their title. And so when you come into that interview or that office, you're not above that person because you served in the military. The military is a job just like any other. We all volunteer. It's a job we chose to do. And when you make that decision when you decide to retire or get out early or whatever, and then transition into the civilian sector, you have to go in with an open aperture. So often I hear from some of my friends that retire, they don't respect what I did in the military. I said, but do you respect what they've done for their company? It's a two-way street during those interviews. And those are the things that you have to kind of have a balance in your mind, that you have to open your aperture. It is very easy to be stoic. I'm a retired general. No.
You're the least stoic person that I know.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You've actually got to bring balance, and you actually have to bring some really clear understanding of who you are, but you also have to be reinvent yourself. And as you're going into an interview, and Chris, here's the deal from a military standpoint, the diaspora of military transition, let's talk about it, is so often we only talk about the service member. We don't talk about the spouse. We don't talk about the students that are, or the children in the family, or the military brats that are in their 20s that are retiring, moving to a new community, having to get new jobs. And so I think the biggest part of military transition is it is a holistic family approach. Is that when you transition, you got to look at, hey, I'm going to have to get a job. My wife maybe has to get a job. I may have adult children that have to get a job. But here's the process. No matter of that 3 in that volume, they all have to interview for a job. And I don't honestly tell you, interviewing is a lost art. It is a lost art. And I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to slap the table. That's my opinion only. It's a lost art. Okay.
Yeah.
When it comes to people interviewing. Because I listen to so many people talk about, oh, I had 13 people come in and interview for this job, and it was just unbelievably, they just couldn't get it. But the thing is, it's not that they couldn't get it. You have to be taught. When I grew up, we were taught to teach. They taught us in school and how to interview. We took classes for it. You used to come in with your suit that one day, and the teacher would sit there and home ec, and he go, or she would go, we're going to interview today. Next week, we're going to work on interviewing.
Don't show our age.
Yeah, I know. But it's a lost art. And so my thing to you is, like, even though we're talking about military transition, what do you say to those spouses out there who have been at home while their spouse has been operating, or their partner's been doing, missions, and they've been home making sure that the house is in order, the kids, and now they are retired, and now if they're having to look at going back into the workforce, what are the nuggets of knowledge that you can provide to help some of these spouses and their adult children out? Because I honestly tell you that with the economy the way it is and the amount of jobs open, it's not the first interview that's the problem. It's the second and third tier interview. And I'll stop right there and turn it over to you, Miss Nepstad.
Okay, well, first of all, congratulations to all of those spouses. You're my heroes, each and every one of you, because you are serving in a huge capacity well. I mean, epic. And you have my full respect and admiration. And I hope for 1 second you don't think that you're qualified to go out and do more great things, right? But here's the thing, I know, look, every client I've ever had wants to know how the techniques about interviewing. How do I say the right thing to get the job? How do I look the part? How do I sit? How do I, talk? What tone of voice should I use? And look, we can get to all of those things. And there is a place for those things. That is important. There is a way that you conduct yourself in an interview. Absolutely. You do need to have facts, stats, relevant quotes about where you're applying. And you do need to have a wonderful way that you interface with people that's very polite and respectful. Yes, but look at communication. Okay, it's the human connection, and it is the key to personal and career success, period. So where that begins is understanding who you are. So to the spouse and the grown children, to your question, Vince.
It was like that. I thought my mother was talking to me.
No. Okay. Oh, your mom might come on here. Love your mother. I digress. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Listen, make me lose your train of thought.
Yeah, I know. Okay, and that's easy for me to do. No, basically, I would say this is where I would begin to all of you out there, spouses that are thinking that is first of all, I hope that you are 100% fulfilled with the incredible role that you have played alongside your partner and raising your children and maintaining your home, being the manager of all those important things. But you are also so special, and you also are so unique, and your ingredient list is so powerful. So take some time and uncover your personal strengths and abilities, your interests. Get those so that they're clear and compelling in your mind and in your heart. Define them for yourself. Identify them, define them, and prove them so that you can own them. And then therefore you're confident in them. All right. And then I would go out and seek what it is that you want to do and know that, by golly, you are capable. You are absolutely capable. And they would be lucky to have you. But it all starts in here. Okay. It's strategy. I want to tell you this. There is a sports psychologist. He's passed away since, but Ken Reviso, a world renowned, look him up.
Okay.
And I watched one of his videos. Oh, guys, it was so fabulous. I loved it because he talked about how we overrate confidence.
Right.
And all of these coaches, they raise up their athletes and train them to be confident. But confidence is fleeting. And, it can come and go so quickly just in a game. Now, you're a coach, General Bugs, as well. So you understand that confidence, it's not always there when we need it. So
we were struggling in the first half last night. My confidence was down, but then we picked it up and we won the game and my confidence was up.
Okay. Okay, but that's my point. That's his point, not my point. But I love his point. And that is, hang on one second. Oh, there you guys are. No. Okay, here's the thing. So what I love is that he says, screw confidence. Screw it. Let's focus on strategy and mission and purpose. Those are the things that are going to keep you performing and executing at a high level when your confidence is waning. And that is what I teach in the Power Seat, is the difference between facts and feelings, how feelings are fleeting, deceiving, disruptive. And for heaven's sakes, people, they change with the wind. But the facts are the facts. They're indisputable. They remain. And so when we form our understanding about who we are and what we have to offer, right, under the umbrella of facts, right, then that's sustainable. We don't have to worry and wonder and doubt. We don't need to entertain any of that stuff. And that's what keeps us consistent and powerful. So I loved what Ken Reviso, Dr. Reviso, was saying there, in that we put too much emphasis on confidence.
Right.
What say you?
You're spot on. You're spot on. And I think that, many people don't understand the BPR, be politically real with yourself. I think once you identify who you are, and you're confident with who you are, then you can engage. And I think so often that we allow other people to dictate our personalities or dictate who we are going to be, and we have a setback, all right? So a lot of people looked at me, and someone asked me the other day, they're like, well, why didn't you stay in the military? You could have helped some more people if you had got a second star, just they went on this long diatribe. So I listened. And then I asked them, and I said these magic words. I said, why does it have to be me? I said, is it not possible for me to go search for another goal and dream in my life, and while I'm still kicking, and then they thought about it and they go, I never looked at it from that standpoint. I said, right, because we often look where we're comfortable. It's easy to be selfish. But when you're looking at trying to get a job and you're getting out an interview, here's the thing is I always tell my students this on a regular basis, my student athletes this, you can't expect to get a 6-figure job doing a $4 work and giving a $4 effort. I said, if you want a 6-figure job, there are prices to be paid to get there. I said, and here's the thing is, you see someone that's made it already or at a certain pinnacle, but they don't realize the interviews those person went through. They don't see the hard work that person has put in. What you see is the end product. And we see a lot of that on a regular basis, the end product. And this is what I'm going to say to spouses in the military out there right now. Just because you stopped working at one point or you've never worked, you've worked your whole life because you supported someone that was on mission. Now that that overhang has changed, that you're evolving, there's nothing wrong for you to get out and do what you need to do to find your way while you're still young, vibrant as a human being. I think so often we become complacent and we give up on a lot of dreams because we are scared to go to that interview. I can't tell you the amount of people I know that are petrified when they have to go give an interview, Christina. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna stop right there.
Hello, I have a whole roster full. Guys, this is where I started. I told you I was so freaking scared. Wait a minute. Do you see that?
What the fuck?
No. Absolutely not.
No.
It's what's the fear?
There we go. Oh.
See, I'm at the censor that now. See my mic's rolling? Bad boy, bad boy.
Michael Garcia, it's what's the fear? Okay? Look, I know fear is a freaking liar. Can we all just say that? Everybody listening to us, I know it's silly, but can you just say it out loud for me? Fear is a liar.
It's a freaking liar. No fear.
It's a freaking liar.
It's freaking loud
Right.
here.
We are so suppressed by fear. I can't stand it. It's not what is in front of us that's holding us back. It's what is within us. It's the inner enemy within us. And that is what we need to be aware of so that we can slay that thing. I mean, because fear will hold us back every time and it will lie to us. It will. So I get that there's fear about the interview. Why? Why are we afraid of interviews? Because we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid that we will be mislabeled. We're afraid we won't get the opportunity or the job, that we'll sound stupid, that we will just have to face the fact we didn't get the nod. Look, let me just ask each of you. We'll start with you, Michael. What would you be afraid of in an interview? What?
Let's see, characteristics. Let's see if the people are going to be professional or are they going to be, I don't want to say biased, but judgmental. I'm 6'1" and I do IT. Doesn't match well, does it? See,
okay.
So
so you're worried about being rejected and mislabeled.
Correct. Yeah, rejected, misled, misread. Not
Misread.
Misled and misread. It varies. I have experience on that. Oh, you don't see my T. Well, of course. I mean,
Okay.
Mr. Bugs, he looks like a general. I mean,
No,
but I don't look like this.
No, I don't have gray hair and look like I'm 900 years old. No.
Okay, so that's a feeling, and you have a fear about it. It can make you kind of nervous and apprehensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it happens. I see it happen. It's like, what?
Totally.
Is it?
Absolutely. No judgment. I deal with this every day.
Because your visuals, the way you walk into a room, it's like, oh, wow. He doesn't look like a IT professional or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask Mike what an IT professional looks like.
I can pull up some pictures. Right? 5'5".
I don't either, but
the bank theory.
Order. Is that really a reason for you to be fearful or for you to be kind of taking a hot seat position, if you will? The hot seat meaning feeling like you're powerless. You kind of just, they're calling all the shots in an interview and that you really can't say or do or think what you want.
Yeah, I've experienced the judgment once walking in the room, but I've also have been very keen of, as they say, taking the horns by the bull, If I said that right, I don't know.
No,
but
reverse.
just
bull by the horse.
There we go, that way. It's Sunday, guys.
Hey,
you see
that's
that?
original, man. I'm gonna keep rolling, baby.
I had to hit my blah blah button.
It's just I really don't get nervous. It's just maybe a natural ability, but I do get a little disappointed, afterward because I already see the judgment. I already see the backlash and the prejudge. Oh, so how long you been doing this? Or even I've been told you don't seem, are you new to the field? No, I've been doing this double-digit numbers. But it's just weird. But I had a question. Now we're on veterans coming out of the military to go into job force. Is this a big issue across America?
Oh, you're gonna punt that one over to me. Well, here's the deal: a lot of veterans are coming out and going into the civilian world. But I think a lot for myself. Here's the thing: is that veterans are more comfortable with going to what they're used to. So they go to contracting jobs, or they look for a GS job on base. I'd say a majority of that I know. I think when you like me, I went totally native and went totally civilian. I have nothing to do with anything governmental. County. I work for the county. But my part was I was more focused on selfless service and getting back into the education and trying to help the next generation so we could just get a better sight picture of mentorship and leadership in certain areas. And I think now for most military, the big challenges is trying to find their niche in our society. But here's the thing is, Mike, you hit a key point, but here's the struggle. People struggle between what they make on active duty and what they need in the civilian world. And I think it goes back to that need and want thing, philosophy, is that what do you really need or what do you want? And I'm going to tell you, those worlds collide on a regular basis. And because sometimes as a military person, you actually have to go back and get some education. And a lot of people at the age of 40, 41, they're up in age, I'm going to leave it there. They don't really want to go back to school. And some will, but what happens is that life punches them in the civilian world. And this is the sad thing is people do respect folks that were in the military. You're in the top % of people's respect level. However, it does not substitute education, knowledge, and the requirement for the job. That means you have to go get the credentials, but then once you have the credentials, you have to be able to articulate those credentials and show that you're value added, because most companies aren't looking at whether you are capable, because you already are capable. They know you're in the military. They know you can get up in the morning, you're dependable, and you'll be at work. The other question is, are you compatible to the environment? And a lot of people confuse capable and compatible. And that's where the planets kind of rub each other. We end up with a black hole sometimes. So you got to make sure once you get your credentials that you're compatible with the organization, which means that when you walk into that interview, you need to make sure that you can articulate what that company's about, how that company is functioned over the last 10 years. And then one thing is you have to understand that you have to navigate personalities. And in the civilian world, the personalities are not the same as those in the military. And I think we need to, that's a whole topic for another day. But the one thing that you have to really look at is after you sat down in the chair and you get to the second interview, then you really, really need to do your homework on the company you work for. But you also got to look within yourself. Is that the company you really want to work for? And so I think that's always some challenges is that people get out and people panic when they do the transition. I got to find this. If you don't plan well and you're a procrastinator and then you do the transition, it will bite you in the butt. So you got to kind of balance that out. And I'm right there. I'm good with that, Mike. Did I cover that?
Can I pop in here and say, look,
sure.
we've talked about this so many times, Vince, about how transition. I mean, look, the only thing constant is change.
Right.
We're talking about the military, but transition happens all the time for everybody. But what I think that brings so often is the feelings of stress, depression, anxiety, just as you were referring to. But I think it can help us all to remember, anybody that's listening here today that's going through a transition, those are the feelings that are talking. I'm not saying that it's not real, but how much of that are the feelings, and what do the facts say about the situation? That's what I would want everybody to pivot to.
Right.
Is what do the facts say about that? And certainly I believe that will bring evidence-based and fresh, new, powerful perspectives when we position ourselves under the facts, right? And it's certainly not a time, I don't care what kind of transition you're going through, it's not a time to give up on your dreams, your goals, or your future, but it is a time to pivot. It is a time to pivot and to prepare, prepare. Because when you are prepared as yourself, you will never be unprepared being yourself. And
whoa! So you're taking a page from my MSD there. You're dumping your MSD on me, your mission, strategy, destination, which means you need to understand your mission of transition.
Right there.
Your strategy needs to be mapped out and how you're going to do that transition, but you always got a destination, and everyone has a destination. But I think sometimes they lose sight of that they have a destination and an opportunity to change their journey, and once you transition out of the military, you got to be able to change your journey because it's just the way the world works. One life to a new life.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just can't help it. I cannot help myself. Can we pivot back to Mike?
Yeah, let's go. Hey, I'm all about jumping on Mike.
Can we just tackle Mike, dogpile Mike a little bit about, okay, Mike, look, you realize that when you were saying what kind of made you a little apprehensive about your interviews?
Yes.
Okay, Mike, that's such bull crud. That is just fear.
Oh, she went like Miss Davis, man, old school.
Oh my gosh, man, look at me. That's so much fear. Look, when you this is what I'm trying to help people understand. With the new idea of what an interview is. It's an interview of you, Mike Garcia.
Yes.
Okay. And your interview is so unique. It's so special. There isn't anybody on the planet just like you, Mike. You have so much to offer.
I agree with you on that one.
Thank you.
Oh, your head getting big.
Nah, I'm blushing. My head don't get big. I blush.
I'm not going to be able to get him out of the studio today. You know what I'm saying?
Look, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay?
I'll take that.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm joshing with you, but actually I'm not, because you have strengths and weaknesses. Well, look, you're human, so you have strengths and you have weaknesses.
Correct.
And if you don't know what the heck they are, those weaknesses, they're going to come up and they're going to derail you and they're going to take you off mission. You know that. So you have to know what they are. Correct. And you have to become the thought leader on yourself. You have to major and minor in you. And when you do that, you're going to gain confidence. And pretty soon, when you realize all of the 80% you have, all of those incredible strengths that are yours, Mike, they're yours. You're not going to give a flying you-know-what about what anybody might think your height doesn't match your job title. I mean, those things that's just crud.
It is, and that's what bothers me. That's what's like, what is this? Like, I can do the job. I'm very functional, very educated. I think, why do I have to be 5'5"? And anybody listening, please don't take to heave. I mean, not all IT people are 5'5",
Okay, look, well, that's just mindless mischief happening. Your mind is just being mischievous on you. But really, when you know who you are, I am. Honestly, and that's the problem. Once you know, don't mean to cut you off, but right there, that's a nice point. You know who you are. But then also comes with backlash, because then it becomes really egotistical. Oh, you like the best, or you want the best job. No.
Yes, quite frankly, I do. And I think I deserve it. I think I work hard for it. But then it becomes a weight on the back. Right. Your ego. You're cocky. Oh, you're this, you're that. You think you run the world. Quite frankly, no. But I can't let you knock me down. I have to pick myself up.
Okay.
So that's what I think. I mean, am I on the wrong track, though?
Yes, you are. Okay, I understand what you're saying. But this has nothing to do with ego, because knowing who you are is only one part of it. That's only one part of it. The other part is taking the philosophy that what you do with what you are, with who you are, is going to be all about connection, and that your interview is a bigger picture than what you're doing in that moment that you're in that interview. Your goal is not to go in to get. Your goal is to go in to give. Your goal is not to go withdraw. It's to deposit. It's to gift others with your strengths. It's to uplift them. All boats rise with Mike Garcia. It's to go in there and here's the acronym for the military. All of you military folks, I know you love acronyms. Here we go. Here we go. MAIL, M-A-I-L, M-A-I-L. It's to mail people. Are you ready? Anybody listening, please write this down. This is all about human connection and what it is, the element in that part of human connection and knowing yourself that's all about personal and professional success, building to your network, which ultimately builds your net worth. And it's about we only rise by lifting others. So you look at it as an interview, as an opportunity to gift people with who you are and mail them. Ready, folks? Mail, motivate. A, add value. I, inspire. L, leave them better off than when you found them. What part of this is pride? What part of this is ego? I ask you.
Exactly. And that's why I asked them the same question. Everybody listen to that. What part of it is ego when you're confident and ready to tackle the world?
Ready to gift others with your strengths.
Right. We got to coach up.
I'm just saying, we have to pivot. We have to change our mindset. That's what I'm working so hard every day for years and years to do, is to revolutionize the concept of an interview. You have to get your mind right. You have to know what it is that you're doing before you can approach it properly. Yes, there's a place for all of that important thing that you need to know about an interview. That's all the techniques, the technical part of it, the information about the company and the employer, the interviewer, etc. And of course, your accomplishments. But we don't lead with our resume. We lead with our individuality. And we go in there with the entire idea to mail people, to gift them, to create a connection. Because I'll tell you something, you may not get that job, but if you do it with the mindset that you're going in there, not that you have to have it, because if you don't, you'll be a worse person. And if you do, you'll be a better person. That's bull. It's an interview. That's all it is. But if you take it as an opportunity to actually pour into somebody else's life and to use it as a conversation that's a connection, to be in the moment with yourself, to gift people with your strengths, abilities, gifts, and talents, then you can create and foster a connection that may pay off in the future way beyond what that one interview is doing for you in that one moment. And by the way, there's not room in one moment for a strength and a weakness. So you can't, if you focus on that, you can't shift over to your weaknesses and the lies that are hidden in your feelings. It will tell you, oh, they're going to misjudge me. They're going to not like me. I'm going to be, they're going to, whatever they do.
Whatever they
deny me, reject me.
Hey, the world is not short of haters. That's, as we know, and the world is not short of people that are pessimists. But the thing is, the world needs positive people, and they need positivity, and they need people to uplift others, and they need people to give opportunities to those who want opportunities.
Well, absolutely, General. And I mean, you lead, look, and I'm not just saying that. You and I go way back, General Bugs. You found me years ago on LinkedIn because you were looking for a better solution for the people, the troops that you were working with, on how to help them understand their power more and their position more and the techniques of interviewing. So when they transition, they're prepared, right?
Hey, good leadership, you have to look at the thing is that the military has an end game. It has an expiration date. And most people go into the military, the expiration date seems so far away. But the thing is, it's really not. And then when you blink, wow, you're at the expiration date, and you've missed the opportunity of having your skill sets, update your skill sets and make yourself prepared for the next journey. See, I told someone one day, somebody, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. Somebody one day told me in the military, I'm going to stay until they kick me out. I said, oh, that's good. I said, because they're going to do it one day.
Yeah, it's coming.
I said, just so you know, they're going to do it one day. I said, I'm going to run until I realize it's time for me to go be Vince Bugs again. And he looked at me and he goes, what do you mean by that? I said, my mother named me Vince Bugs. I joined the military as a career, but this career has an end date. And the problem is it's a subjective end date. And he goes, what do you mean subjective end date? It means somebody that doesn't want you anymore will let you know. And so when that day comes, you don't have the freak out moment. You have a utopia moment and say, hey, I appreciate the opportunity. It was a great run. I'm going to go do something else. And I say that because I look at Steve Jobs, because it happened to him. It happened to Bill Gates to some degree at one point. So when you look at these individuals who ran into some kind of different conflicts, you kind of step back, and you go, well, it can happen to some of the greatest people in the world. What makes me any different? And that's how I look at it. All right.
No, and kudos to you, General Bugs, and how because you've been retired how long?
Oh, yeah, since October 1st last year.
Not even a year.
No.
And look at all the things that you're doing. So, I mean, you don't just talk the talk, you, sir, are walking the walk. You're walking that. You're living that out.
Hey, four feathers, man. God puts somebody in your way and he opens a door. Now it's your choice to walk through it or to take the knowledge that somebody's giving you and telling you. And a lot of people like, I got this. I don't ever say I got this. I'm learning to learn every day.
Yeah. Well, mindset is so important, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to be positive.
So Christina, question.
You have to be positive, but come on, you know it's more than positivity. You know that it is.
All right, so I'll throw the curveball out there that I always kind of keep hitting. I look at it like this, and I approach life like this probably the last 10 years, is that there, and I use the diaspora of Africa, and I look at the people that came from Africa and they were stripped of their culture, who they were, their religion and all that. And I said, they endured so long. And then when some came to America, they were off-ramped in America. One survived so Vince Bugs could exist. So if anyone out there that can survive what they went through and allow me to be on this planet, then anything I go through is nothing what they went through. And so what I go through is the journey to try to make sure that I'm successful for all their suffering. And you always have to live for someone else. And I'm gonna honestly tell you, I talk about my mom all the time. My mom is a freaking rock star, as in when she stands back and assesses situations, and she really is the pinnacle of a person that is always happy under the most unbelievable circumstances. And I'm like, how are you happy? This is terrible. And she goes, I am, because we're going to get through it. And that mindset of being taught that at a young age, no matter what I've been through combat, no matter what I've been through long deployments, no matter what I've been through, the stresses in my life, I'm always going to get through it, Christine. That's right. I roll.
Right. I mean, what I know about your mom, and darn it, I'm so sad we almost met in Florida. We almost met, and I'm still hoping that day will come where we can meet in person. But my goodness, your mom is definitely a trailblazing woman. And she is somebody that, since I don't know her personally, but I know quite a bit about her and her incredible accomplishments personally and professionally from you, Vince, who are a proud son, is your mom seems to she doesn't get bitter about anything that may have gone wrong. She simply gets 100% better. She
does.
Yeah.
Who in their 70s gets a freaking PhD?
I don't know anybody.
Who does that?
It's flat out remarkable. But your mom, no, she's like unstoppable. But she's got a lot of grit, and she has a lot of grit, and I think we could all learn from that. I mean, we have to have grit in our lives to get through things, and we got to stop being such babies. And so, like, little thing that hits us, we're just crushed to the core, and it's just like a blow to our self-confidence and our abilities. Where your mom, I know, because she's human, you can't go through this life without having troubles. She's taken anything that may have come up that most of us, a lot of us would say would cripple us or, derail us for many months at a time. And she would take that and she would use that to better herself, right, and to broaden her opportunities. And we can learn from that. And certainly I hope you might expand on it and unpack it a little further in a future podcast that you do. I maybe would recommend you have her on. And because she'd be a great teacher for so many of us, how to live with grit and how to take what life gives you that may not be so positive and perfect, because it rarely ever is, and turn it around to something as a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, absolutely. And so, and Chris, you make a great point, but as always, I always look to her, and even though when I agree or disagree, she always wins.
That's great. Well,
yeah. So,
that's the way it should be.
That's
the way it should be.
Yeah. So all the grandkids call it GM, and someone asked me one day, they call it GM. Is that for grandmother? I said, hell no, man. That's for General Mom.
Oh, that's good.
So I know we're on the end of this, and Chris, and Christina, always, I really appreciate you coming on, and I'm gonna let Mike kick it over to Mike real quick and let him talk, and then we'll wrap it up. Go ahead, Mike.
It's wrapping it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And once again, we would like to thank RAC, Reasonable Acceptance Corporation. Let's see if I said that right. Yes, Residential Acceptance. Sorry, Sandra. for, let us use one of their suites office. And I would like to thank Christina for joining us. Please get her book. I'm going to,
Exactly.
hold on 1 minute. I'm going to put it up there once again.
Oh, whoa. I want to say one thing.
Well,
Chris, you went through evolution on your book. Let's hear that real quick. Give me the Cliff Note version of why you changed the cover of your book.
There we go. And we're going to.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. When the book started, I started writing it, and it first came out, primarily my clients were women. But then the book came out and it gained traction quite a bit unexpectedly. And it ended up in front of the male audience as well. And we had a lot of people going, hey, wait a minute, what is the stiletto heels on the cover and the pink and the whole women and all these issues on the inside have nothing to do with me. And so we had, and then the military, and then you, Vince, were saying in my ear, you and my partner, if I could just please mention my partner in our online course, who is retired colonel and an incredible human being, Professor Tom Pickering. Right. And him and I have this online course. Please visit that if you can and enroll. It's called Mastering Interview and Career Marketing Skills. And he is just an absolute wealth of knowledge when it comes to career marketing. And I was just honored and truly to be able to partner with him in this course. It's about a 20-hour course. And I think you have it on the ticker tape there. But I owe you a great, huge thank you, General Bugs, for really putting it in my ear that it would be worth my time and investment to revamp the book, the second version, and really a lot of the material, about, I would say 40 to 50% on the inside has been revamped, and the outside cover looks more gender friendly.
Hey, just trying to help a friend. Just trying to help a friend.
The bills in the mail, that wasn't cheap, but no.
All right.
Right now, I just have to say right now, I have 70% of my clients are men.
Well, see what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you.
I know.
We need help. We need a woman's touch.
Yeah, I tried to tell you back in the day. All right, Mike, bring us home, baby.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Meet us again on the next show. And tune in, Coastal Connection.
Bravo. Start inspire others.